Hi, my name is Jennifer Johnson, and I'm going to be talking today about the Grand Canyon, and I will start with the history of it. Um, the Grand Canyon is known around the world for its vast vista, beautiful colors, and incredible geology. It's a lot more than just a big hole in the ground, as many people think. Ancient Native American structures and artifacts to stories about exploring and the settlement of the region by the European American explorers, miners, and pioneers, more recent stories about conserving and protecting the national park. The Grand Canyon has had people a part of its history and culture for over 10,000 years, which is a very, very long time. The first Europeans to see the Grand Canyon were soldiers led by Garcia Lopez de Cardenas. And in 1540, Francisco Vasquez de Coronado and his Spanish army traveled northward from Mexico City in search of the Seven Cities Cardenas, guided by Hopi, led by a small party of men to go find what they thought was the Great River at the time. The Native Americans referred to the plateau as the mountain lying down, because that's really what it looked like. September 23, 2003 marks 100 years since the death of one of America's greatest explorers, John Wesley Powell. He was the one who went down the deadly Colorado River and giving the Grand Canyon the name because of the way it was formed in the process. Now I will be speaking to you about the air quality and the water quality of the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon National Park is most known for their amazing views. The downwind of the polluted air from coal-fired power plants to the Four Corner region, nearby mining, and urban and industrial pollutants from Mexico and California play a huge contributing factor in the quality of air. Air pollutants carried into the park can harm natural and scenic resources such as forest, the soils, streams, fish, and even the visibility that we see just while we're outside. Tributaries all have the same following characteristics: hardness, high alkalinities, where the pH is around 8.5, except for when they're in some of the warmer waters, it's about 7.5, and dissolved oxygen levels in the range of healthy streams. Grand Canyon's water quality varies greatly when it comes to the bacteria that is there. Any stream exhibiting high fecal coliform or fecal streptococcus. Now we're going to move on to the geological activity and the hydraulic activity. The Grand Canyon does not hint the geological process that are active today or in the recent years in the canyon. In the recent geological past, volcanic activity dramatically impacted the Grand Canyon. In western Grand Canyon, hundreds of volcanic eruptions occurred over the past 2 million years. In 1963, the diversion tunnels around the Glen Canyon Dam were closed and water began backing up to the Lake Powell. The old cold Colorado River carried a heavy load of sand and soil particles, which was why it was named the Colorado, Spanish for red. Now upstream, sediments are trapped in Lake Powell, and the river water flowing from the dam is clear. Glen Canyon Dam was operated first for water, then for storage, and then for delivery, and then secondarily for the power generation. When demand decreased, water flows dropped. Now, something that people don't realize is the weather is a huge part of what signifies in the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon itself influences the weather. Tremendous changes in elevation cause large differences in temperature and precipitation. The coolest, wettest weather station in the region is less than 8 miles from the hottest and one of the driest stations. The highest temperatures are found at the lower elevations inside of the canyon. Low relative humidity and generally clear skies mean the most of the sun's energy is available for daytime heating. These same conditions lead to rapid heat loss at night. Consequently, daily temperature swings are large. That's pretty significant. Winter precipitation usually falls as snow on the rims, but melts to rain before reaching the canyon floor. However, by midsummer, heating over the southwestern deserts draws most air from the Gulf of Mexico and the Pacific Ocean, which is Gulf of California. Lightning from these dry thunderstorms can ignite forest fires. Such floods can also arrive in the canyon bottom without warning. The rushing floodwaters may be the first indication of heavy rains are coming and are at the rim levels. I just spoke to you a little bit about how fires can get started by the lightning, and so also wildfire is one of the most powerful and creative natural processes on our planet. Natural fires swept through plant communities at intervals that provided conditions for many plant species to regenerate. Wildfires also benefit many animal species. Increased forage that results after a fire, many animals low on the food chain experience increase in their populations. Therefore, species above them on the food chain also benefit. In the western United States, the accumulation of dead forest fuels during the time now presents extreme hazards of health of trees, soil, wildlife, to humans living in the areas, and to the taxpayers who have had to fund the fighting of the catastrophic wildfires. Now, the Grand Canyon Fire Management Program views the wise use of fire as an important tool in an effort to reduce the impacts and restore balance to our ecosystems. So that's very important for all of us. Wildland fire can also adversely impact other resources, both natural and cultural. Spoke to you earlier, mentioned the colors being vibrant. Well, the night skies and the soundscapes noise is what I'm going to be talking about next. Many people say that gazing up at the night sky on a moonless summer night and having center of the Milky Way galaxy cast your shadow upon the earth along with all the other ground-dwelling creatures of the night. And in 2001, John Bortle created a useful 9-class scale called the Bortle scale that gives us a foundation for what a pristine night sky should look like versus a severely light, polluted night sky. It's pretty interesting to see. Light pollution is defined as an excessive, misdirected, or obtrusive artificial light. We have seen dramatic increase in light pollution over the last few decades, and light pollution is 100% fixable. It cleans up literally at the speed of light. The natural soundscape is an important resource for this park in the Grand Canyon, and there are relationships between how this environment is perceived and understood by individuals and society. Natural ambient sound is considered compatible with the term natural quiet. This definition is used as the basis for determining the sound environment for park planning purposes and other environmental compliance actions, stemming from human activity that may produce inappropriate or intrusive impacts on park soundscape. Non-native species in greening Grand Canyon is my next topic. A basic premise in ecology is that an ecological community is one in which all parts contribute to its health. When species are lost in the community, it also has the loss of integrity, and a cascading effect takes place eventually, and the original community is completely lost. and that it can be very catastrophic. The natural controls on flora and fauna include such processes as predation, competition, and parasitism. These forces prevent one species from dominating. The habitat restoration team works to extradite exotic plants and to plant natives. Again, as I mentioned, they are a very important part of the Grand Canyon and making sure things are the way they should be, the best we can. The Grand Canyon is committed to reducing its impact on the environment by implementing sustainable practices and projects that decrease greenhouse gases, emissions, conserve water, increase recycling, and use alternative energy and fuels. Climate-friendly parks have made a commitment to become environmental leaders by lowering their greenhouse gas emissions and teaching others how to limit their own impacts on the environment, which includes all of us. The Climate Action Plan outlines the steps park staff, partners, and residents have committed to take to reduce waste and to improve the management of the energy, the water, and the transportation in order to reduce the park's greenhouse gas emissions, because all of those do play a huge role. There are a few ways we can help the Grand Canyon today, and as we say here in Texas, green is grand. That also applies there and everywhere. Refill your water bottles. Refilling your water bottles reduces plastic waste in the streams, litter along the trails and walkways that people are on, and greenhouse gas emissions just by refilling a reusable water bottle. Something so easy can be done by all of us. Travel green. Grand Canyon suggests that you carpool with others when going there to use less gas, but it also says using a bike or any other form of transportation is another way of driving. And that is all I have for you on the Grand Canyon for today. Thank you so much.